as we go through, the first thing we're going to do, flip over. I've already shuffled all these up, so here we go. So we have an event. You can immediately place one minefield marker for free if available. Awesome. All right, so one of the minefields here, I can place either there or there. We'll go ahead and place that right there. Now, these do come with little stands. You'll see the little notch cut out right there, but since the overhead camera, figure, go ahead and lay them down. So that is the headline phase and the event resolution. You know what? One other thing that I do want to do is I want to go ahead and read the historical flavor for these. So in November 1914, after the bombardment of, Sedubayer by the British Navy, the Turks began fortifying the vulnerable Narrows against fleet action. The foundation of the Straits defenses was a series of 10 minefields containing a total of 370 mines. Unbeknownst to the Allies, on the night of March 8, 1915, the Turkish mine layer Nesret laid a line of mines in Erinköy Bay. I'm going to butcher a lot of these pronunciations, so I apologize ahead of time. So here we go. So first things first, the Arab front and the Caucasus front both advance one step. So you'll see that, and we always activate these top to bottom, left to right, as shown on the card itself. So the Arab front, well, it's not on the board, so we can skip that. However, the Caucasus front advances to Sarıkamış, right there. All right? All right. So that is the Army movement phase. Now we go into the action phase. So you guys can see here that it says that we have 2 actions. You guys are all making me self-conscious about the microphone. You know what? Let me try something. I'll be right back. Hold on. All right, see if that sounds any better. All right, let me know, guys. Okay, so we have, we can allocate resources. We can deploy Narrows defenses, which we kind of already got a bump up on, so I think we're okay on that. Launching offensives, we really only have one that can go. And so we have a total of, for that card, we have 2 actions. And it's +1 to all offensives versus Mesopotamia. Well, Mesopotamia didn't advance, so I don't need to bother with that. Our options are to push back the Caucasus front or to be able to lay out some resources. And I think we're going to go ahead and start. Let me look at something real quick. I think we're going to go ahead and place 1 resource in the Western Theater. So that cost me 2 actions to do so. So that's it. It's done. There is no Kaiserschlatt phase. So then national will adjustment. There's no victories. There's no defeats. And these strategic site areas out here aren't controlled. So it doesn't move. It stays at 0. Boom. Done. All right. Easy enough. All right, well, it's the best we're going to do for today, guys. Sorry about that. All right, so now, the event. No event. So, here we go. Oh, that's a lot of words. Here we go. Bulgaria entered the war on behalf of the Central Powers in October 1915, lured by German provinces to restore the prior borders. Although Bulgarian forces won victories against Serbia and Romania and occupied much of Macedonia, the war soon became unpopular due to economic hardship and dislike of fighting as allies with the Muslims against fellow Eastern Orthodox Christians. In September 1918, when a multinational allied force broke through on the Salonika front, the Bulgarians sued for peace. So this is Bulgaria joins the Central Powers. All right, I only get 1 action point on this one, but Mesopotamia and the Sinai both advance. So Mesopotamia advances there. Now the Sinai attempts to advance. All right, the reason I say attempts to advance is you'll notice that these 2 spaces right here on the board have water symbols. Well, this is the desert, And until the pipeline, the Sinai pipeline is completed, it's really dry, and it's possible that they don't have enough water to be able to advance across the desert. So what I need to do is I have to roll whatever number. If I roll a 3 or higher, which is their battle value here on the chit, they do not advance. So come on, 3 or higher. That is not a good start. They advance to El Arish. All right? All right. So now I have one action point. Well, honestly, I'm thinking we're going to go ahead and try and push them back one, just for the simple fact that make it harder for them to advance. Yeah, let's go for it. So I will try. I need to roll a 3 or higher to push the Murray and the Sinai front back. I am not doing well. That failed. That cost my 1 point, and that's that. Next card. Again, no national will change, no nothing like that. All right, we have an event. Hey, this is awesome. Place the Intelligence Bureau of the East marker on the turkey box in the display. So we're going to do that first and foremost. So we have this. We'll come down into Turkey. We're going to flip this over to the 1 DRM side. All right. So because of one of the added rules or the variants, if you will, that I'm playing, is when that comes out, that gives a plus DRM against any coup attempts that are going to be there, okay? As opposed to it would be a +2 if it were in the right area for the coup attempts. So that works out. That was nice. I'm glad that came out early. That's going to be helpful. All right. So we have done so here. Then we advance the Mesopotamias, and we get 1 action. But Intelligence Bureau of the East, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that in German, was established at the start of the war to prevent or promote nationalist agitation against the British Empire. Headed by archaeologist Baron Max von Oppenheim, the organization sent agents into India and Egypt in order to stir unrest, and was also involved in subversive missions to Persia and Afghanistan. So we advance Mesopotamia 1. Okay, now that's getting a little close. We get 1 action point. Yeah, I think we're going to make it really, really simple here. Sorry about that, Giovanni. Yeah, that's what I heard as well. Content was that this is the 3rd in the series. This is the earliest one that I have, though, however. We're going to go ahead and go against Townshend in Mesopotamia. We need to roll a 3 or higher to push him back. Make sure I'm doing that right. Check that. I need to roll higher than that, so I need a 4 or higher. We are not doing well on our rolls so far. That was a big bucket of fail right there. All right. Well, they have not affected the will yet, so we go into the next round. All right. We have Enver to the front. Enver Pasha was one of the quote-unquote young Turks who took control of the Ottoman Empire through the Committee of Union and Progress. Insisting on taking personal command, Enver invaded the mountainous Caucasus region in the height of winter in December 1914. The result was a resounding defeat for Ottoman forces at the Battle of Sarıkamış, involving over 50,000 casualties. So the Caucasus and the Sinai both advance, and then the actions. I get 2 of them, and both of them must be used for offensives against the Caucasus. So, all right. So we have the Caucasus and the Sinai. So the Caucasus advances 1, and the Sinai attempts, same rules as before. So to be able to advance there, we need hopefully a 3 or higher. Try and change things up a little. There we go. They do not advance. Awesome. There we go. So we have the Caucasus. Well, we need to roll a 3 or higher. We have 2 actions in which to do so, and they both must be taken for the Caucasus. So I need a 3 or higher in which to push them back. That's a fail. We'll do it again. That's a success. We push them back. Good deal. If you guys will give me just a moment. Yep. All right, cool. So that's it. And again, national will not affected out here, so we go to the next card. We have Second Battle of Ypres. All right. So we're going to be conducting the Western Theater Battle. Well, I'm glad I got a +1 over there. So that's going to be helpful. We'll get there. Then the Caucasus and the Sinai attempt to advance. We get 1 action. So in November 1914, German armies clash with the French and British forces at Ypres, a small Belgian town. In April 1915, the Germans launched an offensive, regaining the high ground gaining the high ground east of the town. The battle was distinguished by the first major use of poison gas. In the third offensive in 1970, also known as that, armies clashed with 500,000 casualties for all sides. The numbers in this are just staggering on that. All right, so we have our first battle. So what we're going to do is we will make sure that I do this right. So these are off-map battles. So we have the Second Battle of Ypres here. So that is going to take place, all right. Lost my place, a moment, there we go. To resolve an off-map battle, roll a die and modify the result as follows. For each resource in here, I get a +1, so I get +1 on my roll. There's no war weariness. That chit is not out on the board yet. Hopefully it's a while. So then we compare the modified result. If it's less than that number, so I start with a +1. If it's less than that number, it goes into the defeat box. If it's a 4 modified, goes there. If it's 5 or higher, goes there. So we want a roll of 4 or higher. Hey, it's an automatic victory. There we go. Boom. Go us. Yay. All right. Now, the good news is these do not get spent right now. Now, I can, if I wish, use these, get rid of them, to be able to give, permanently get rid of them later on. But I wish to not do that. So that is the battle. Then the Caucasus advance again, and the Sinai attempt to advance. And here, need a 4 or higher for them. I'm sorry. It is a 3 or higher for them not to advance. They advance. Well, the flanking attack isn't coming into play because the Arab front isn't even on there. All right. That is not good. So we have 1 action, and now we have 3 here banging on our door. We're going to go ahead and try and push Murray back with our 1 point here. Yeah, we're going to try and push him back, but to push him back, we need a 4 or higher. We are not rolling well. This might be a quick game, guys. Whew. All right, so we failed. We go on to the next card. All right, so we have the Gallipoli Landings. Place the Hamilton Gallipoli unit on its 4 space, and the destroyed Sedabahir gun emplacement marker in the Narrows. All right, I'll get to that in a minute. The Arab they're not on there. The Caucasus advance, that's not good either. And I get 2 actions. So hoping to break the stalemate in the war and knock the Ottoman Empire out quickly, which is going well for them, young British First Lord of the Admiralty, Winston Churchill, conceived of a dynamic invasion of the Gallipoli Peninsula. On April 25, 1915, the landings began, but incompetence coupled with the resolute efforts of the Turkish defenders bogged down the campaign for many months. All right, so place the Hamilton Gallipoli marker out there. So let me grab that. So Hamilton. And this goes out on Gallipoli. And it shows, it goes onto that. So now that is another front that just got opened up. And the set of Bahir gun emplacement 1, I think I had it down here. It is. All right, so that goes away. That's not good for us. We don't like that. All right, now the Arabs, they're not out there yet. The Caucasus do advance. That's going to cause that to drop if I don't push it back. So I guess we're going to have to try and push Dashkov back. So we're going to yeah, I think we have to. So we'll spend 1 action doing that. We need to roll a 3 or higher in which to do so. That's an automatic. Go home. And you know what? Let's go ahead and try and push Murray back with the second action. Need a 4 or higher. Automatic. Goes back. Good. Good job, Turks. All right. Hey, Wolf. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the 3rd in the series. All right. So because we have pushed them back out of those spaces, we don't have to worry about that. So national will stays where it is. All right. So we have Gadar Conspiracy. Early in the war, the Germans attempted to foment revolution in British India, working with radical nationalists in the country. The Gadar Party in North America and the Indian Independence Committee in Germany, a plot for a large-scale mutiny of Indian troops in February 1915 was launched. The plan failed miserably as British intelligence had successfully infiltrated it. So we're going to have our first coup attempt in India, and then we advance all of those, but as we know, the Arabs are not on the board yet both of those will, and we have 2 actions as well. So we have our first coup, so let's go ahead. Coups are easy enough. To resolve a coup, we're going to roll the die, and then because we have this here in Turkey, we get a +1 on all of these, all right? So we need to roll higher than the number. So in other words, we need to roll a 5 or a 6 because the coup in India says it's a 5. So we have coup in India. That will go there. If we fail, nothing happens. However, if we succeed, we get to put it in the victories box, which is good for us. Victory points, right? So we need to roll a 5 or a 6 to succeed. I'm only counting stuff that's in there, so we're going to try this again. That works both ways. All right, we failed. So this is out of play. We'll just put it off over there. Boo. All right, now Arabs advance. They do not. Gallipoli advances. There we go. And then the Caucasus advance. And we have 2 actions. And I feel like we should be doing something over in the Narrows, but all of this is so disconcerting right now that I think we go ahead and try and push Dashkov back again. So need to be able to move him back, we need a 3 or higher. That works. And we have 1 point left. Why don't we go ahead and do that again? Yeah, failed. All right. Well, there's that. But we got them back off of the national will impact. So national will stays where it is, and we go to a new event or a new card. Armenian volunteer units. Armenian volunteer units served in the Russian and British armies during the First World War. The origin of these units varied from Armenians who escaped the Ottomans to Armenians who lived in areas under Tsarist control. Harsh treatment of Armenians within the empire led many to resistance, which was used as an excuse for the genocide that follows. So no event, Arab, Caucasus, Sinai, and 2 actions. All right, no Arabs still. Caucasus advances again. This dude is a serious thorn in my side. And the Sinai attempts to advance. We need a 3 or higher, and he doesn't. He does. Oh, this is frustrating. So we have 2 actions. And at some point, the mid is going to come into play here. Well, let me look something up real quick. So how many of you guys out there have played this before? Oh, there it is. That's the rule I'm looking for. Okay, all right. Yeah, we're going to spend one of them to try and push Dashkov back. Would we roll a 5? Good. We have one more. Let's go and do it again. There we go. It gets them off my board, and now I feel like we can actually do something a little bit. I suppose I could. Yeah, so be it. All right. Wow. Wolf says he has over 1,000 bagged war games from back in the day when war game magazines were cheap enough to take out of his subscription. I hope the game was worthwhile. Mostly they weren't. Hey, Yoda. Giovanni. Spoken like a war gamer. I don't play games. I only buy them. Yeah. Not quite sure what happened with the compressor today. Nothing. All right. So, moving on to the next event. Grand Duke Nicholas takes control. September 1915, Grand Duke Nicholas, the grandson of Tsar Nicholas I, who had been removed as commander-in-chief on the Eastern Front, took the helm of the Caucasus operations. While his able subordinate, Nikolai Yudnich, was nominally in charge, Grand Duke Nicholas ran strategic affairs until the provisional government took over Russia in February 1918. So if it's on the map, replace the Caucasus front with its Grand Duke Nicholas unit, showing the same flag that it currently shows. Then everything's going to advance it in 3 actions. So, Grand Duke Nicholas, that is here. So unfortunately, yeah, I would like it to go onto that side, but I'm glad I pushed it back when I did. That's going to go, and that's going to come off. All right. Then Mesopotamia is going to advance. That's bad news. Gallipoli is going to advance. That's bad news. And the Salonika front isn't on there. All right. You know what? I'm going to try something real quick, guys. Also, I'm going to mute the audio too to do this, so give me just a second, okay? If that changed anything, let me know if it did for the audio, guys. All right. Okay. So everything's advanced. We get 3 actions, and we got a whole lot of problems out here. All right, so I'm okay with the Caucasus Front being where it is, but I feel like these two need to get back. And we have a total of 3 actions. So the other thing is I know I need to get more DRM help markers into the off-map theaters. I know that's going to be important as the game advances. And the problem is those take 2 actions each in which to do so. No, oh well. It's going to have to stay like that for the rest of today, guys. Sorry about that. I think I might have bumped something. I'll take a look afterwards. So we're going to try and push Hamilton back. We need a 3 or higher. That works. So there's that. I think we have to try and push Townsend back as well. So we need a 4 or higher. All right. This was a good choice. Now the other question is, do we try and push Murray or do we try and push Townsend back? And yes, I realize I'm neglecting the narrows, but I have a good feeling about that. All right. Let's try and push Murray back. Need a 4 or higher. There we go. Murray goes back. That was good use of the 3 actions. Succeeded in all of them. We now have no effect on our national will, so we go to the next card. And good thing, here we go. Shuffle the midday cards into the deck. So, Jihad declared on November 14, 1914, on behalf of the Sultan, the religious leaders Sheikh ul-Islam declared jihad, or holy war, urging all Muslims, including those in allied countries, to take up arms. The appeal had a limited effect in Muslim lands under British rule. Sheikh Hussein ibn Ali, the Emir of Mecca, refused to endorse jihad, saying that it was incompatible with an aggressive war. So, shuffle the midday cards. So, first things first, that entire deck of cards, as you guys can see, is going to then get shuffled into the remaining cards here. So we're going to do a quick little shuffle here, actually. I'm going to deal them out a little bit and kind of shuffle them up that way. That way they're a little bit more dispersed. All right, there, I just cut them, so hopefully that works out. So those are now shuffled in, so you can see that is 2/3 of the cards remaining in the game. So we advance the Caucasus, Mesopotamia, and Sinai, but I get 3 actions and +1 to all offensives. That's kind of nice. All right, so the Caucasus advance 1, Mesopotamia advances 1, and the Sinai attempts. We need a 3 or higher for that to fail. That failed. So at least there's that. So we have 3 actions now, and I get a +1 on all of my offensives. So we're going to start with spending 1 here on Townsend. So we need a 3 or higher. Yeah. And now that those are in, against my better judgment, probably, I'm going to spend 2 actions to bring one into the Eastern Theater. We have a lot of battles coming for those. Oh, here, let me, you guys can't see that, so hold on. So all of these green counters up here are other ones. So being able to have that influence, they think is going to be important. So that's why we put it there. So that's my 3 actions. 1 was wasted because we failed, but it is what it is. Or do we? Because we got the +1. Okay, fine, we won't. We have 2 more. Let's do it again. Townsend, we need a 3 or higher. All right, automatic win. Do we push him back again? Or do we go with him? You know what? I make a case for both of those. And I think we do the Caucasus. Let's try that. Let's Grand Duke Nicholas, we need a 3 or higher to push it. Oof. All right, never mind. Good thing we did that +1, huh? Oof. All right, so here we go. Oh, we have our first Midday card that came up. Oh, sorry about that, guys. There we go. So we have Wasmus in Persia. In February 1915, Wilhelm Wasmus was dispatched in an attempt to cause Iran to enter into an alliance with the Central Powers. The attempt, while showing initial promise, turned into a complete fiasco. While Wasmus succeeded in causing some southern tribes to revolt, he also lost the German code book, which fell into British hands. I think the phrase is, whoops. So we have a coup in Persia, the Caucasus advance, Gallipoli advances, and we have 2 actions. So we have a coup in Persia. Let's hope this one goes better than the last one went. So we have a +1, so we need a 5 or a 6 on this. Wow. Not good. If you guys have watched any of my other solo streams, I tend to roll well. Apparently I'm making up for it today. So the Caucasus advance. Get back, Nicholas. And Gallipoli advances as well. And we have 2 actions. This sucks. Get him back. So we need a 3 or higher. I'm sorry, we need a 4 or higher. Okay, good. And Gallipoli, need a 3 or higher. All right, well, we have our first national will effect. So because they are on one of those markers, we add all that up, minus any defeats, and make sure they're not offset by victories. A moment. Defeats and strategic sites, that's it. Ugh. So we're at -1. If we ever get to -4 or higher, we automatically lose as well. Obviously, I need to roll better. All right, there we go. Next card. Seriously, right? That's a terrible die. All right, so we got one of the early, one of the 3, I think, remaining ones that were there. So we have Senussi Revolt in November 1915. Ahmed Sharif as Senussi, the head of a religious sect of tribesmen in Libya, was encouraged to attack the British in Egypt. After seizing a few British forces with South African aid expelled the Senussi from Egypt permanently by February 1917. So, hey, the Sinai retreat, yay! All right, nice to see him go back the other way, Mesopotamian Gallipoli. Whew, in 2 actions. So, Sinai, go back, all the way back to the Suez. There's one we don't have to worry about. But don't worry, the Mesopotamia and Gallipoli are huge problems. So we have 2 actions. This has got to happen or else we could potentially lose on the next round. We need a 3 or higher. There's 1. We'll do it again. Yeah, 3 or higher. There we go. So at least push them back a little bit. Really don't feel good about this, but is what it is. So we push them back, so that's awesome, but they're still at covering that, so we stay at -1. At least they're not additive, right? Oh, there's a lot of stuff here. German U-boats in the Mediterranean. Yay! All right. So on April 25th, 1915, finally we got some good news here. The same day as the Gallipoli Landings, the German government dispatched U-boat 21 under the command of Lieutenant Commander Otto Hersing. After clearing the Straits of Gibraltar and stopping in the Austrian port of Cattaro, the submarine made its presence felt in the Mediterranean. On May 25th, U-21 sunk the British battleship Triumph. Place the U-boat marker in the Narrows area. If forcing the Narrows has not yet occurred, that event does not take place. Woohoo! The Caucasus and the Sinai both advance, but we get 2 actions and +1 DRM on both of those, but obviously it's only the Gallipoli one that matters because the Salonika are not in play. But this is good news. The straits are closed. This part of the game isn't even going to happen. All right, that is awesome. I'm sorry for you guys not being able to see it, but that's one of the ways we can lose. Woo! Don't need to worry about that, and I'm glad I didn't waste any actions on that. All right, so the Caucasus, those advance. That's less than good, though. And the Sinai advance. Oh, they attempt to advance. So they need to roll a 3 or higher to fail. They fail. They do not advance. So now we have 2 actions. We get a +1 on that one, which all but is a likely outcome that would succeed, but these are the bigger problems. Let me look something up real quick. And I misspoke earlier. If I remove any of the markers that I have out here, which right now is just 1, it gives me 1 extra action. You know what? A moment real quick. Yeah. Okay, so we have 2 actions. I feel like you know what? This may come back to bite me, but there's so many battles coming in here. I'm willing to try that for 1 round. That's it. At least that's done, and now I can just focus on pushing these back. Let's see how it goes. So that's going to push that down to -2 or -2, and there we go. All right. We have Arab Revolt. Sometime around June 8th, my birthday, 1916, the French and British made an alliance with Grand Sharif Hussein to initiate an Arab revolt in return for promises of post-war sovereignty. After some initial victories in the Hejaz in October 1916, the campaign bogged down as it was unable to capture Medina or influence the primary theaters of fighting. So, placed the Faisal Hussein Arab unit on the 6th base on its track. That's another one we now have to mess with. And Mesopotamia and the Sinai both advance, and we get 2 actions. Okay, so this at least goes on to the 2 side and comes down there. Mesopotamia advances 1. Well, we know what our focus is this turn. And the Sinai attempts to a 3 or higher, and they fail. They fail. Stay back, Murray. 2 actions. It's got to be for this. Got to be for 4 or higher. Come on. All right, there's 1. We're going to do it again. Nope. All right, let's not get greedy, I guess. Oof. All right, so now we're still at -2 for there and there. That's done. Next card. Oh, this is not good. Yudenich named commander-in-chief. Although Grand Duke Nicholas gave General Nikolai Yudenich a free hand in running the Caucasus campaign, after the Russian Revolution of February 1917, Yudenich was officially named as commander-in-chief. By May of 1917, however, he was dismissed for insubordination. He later became a powerful figure in the ensuing Russian Civil War. If in play, place the Caucasus front marker with its Yudenich unit. All right, then the Arab and Mesopotamia both advance. And I get 2 actions. So this is becoming a really big problem. That's now a 4. All right. And Arabs advance and Mesopotamia advances. Well, 2 actions. It's got to be for Mesopotamia needing a 4 or higher. Fail. Do it again. Success. We survived to fight another day. So we're still at 2. No other changes. That stays there. Here we go. All right. Asia Corps. After the fall of Serbia, it became possible for German troops to be dispatched directly to the Ottoman Empire. The first major German relief expedition, Pasha I, was dispatched in March of 1916 and sent to the Palestine front. In April, air assets were also dispatched. In August of 17, a second expedition, Pasha II, was dispatched. Ultimately, most German forces were decimated. Take the Asia Corps marker, discard the marker to gain +1 DRM on all offensives against a single front for 1 turn. Well, it looks like we're probably going to bust it out right now. I can save those if I want, but I choose not to because Mesopotamia is going to advance and I get 3 actions. So Mesopotamia advances. I get the Asia Corps. Here you go. Done. So I get a +1. So now I need 3s or higher on that. So on all offensives against a single front, it's going to be Mesopotamia. So 3 or higher. 1. Nope. 2. 1, 2. So at least we pushed them back to cut. So there's that. And now national will marker will go back up 1. All right. Worrisome, obviously. Could have made a case that I should have pushed that, but the fact that they were in Mosul, if there was one more advance, the game was over. So I had to do that. It made sense to use the Asia Corps for that, I think. All right, here we go. Hey, got another battle. All right, so we have the Somme. Between July and November 1916, British and French allies launched a major offensive against the Germans on the Western Front. The campaign resulted in a massive loss of life and only translated into the conquest of 6 miles of German-held territory. On July 1st, 1916 alone, the British Army sustained 60,000 casualties. The campaign, however, did feature the first use of tanks. Yeah, one of the ugliest day in British history as far as losses, the Somme, July 1st. If you guys haven't listened to Dan Carlin's Hardcore History, the stuff he did on World War I was amazing. I highly, highly recommend it. All right, so we have a battle of the Somme. So for the battle, we need, so we get a +1. So defeat, stalemate, or victory, depending on what we roll. We need a 3 or higher to succeed. Hey, we succeeded. So we won the Somme. There's that. Cool. Then Gallipoli advances. That's not good. And Salonika, they're still not on the board, so we don't need to worry about that. We get 1 action. So here, you know what? I'm going to leave it up to you, Peanut Gallery. You tell me. We have 1 action, unmodified die roll. We can try and push Hamilton back, needing a roll of 3 or higher to Anzac Cove, or we need a 5 or a 6 to push back Udenich to attempt to get him off of the national will location, the strategic space. My gut says Gallipoli, go ahead and push that back. But at some point, we're going to have to deal with this menace that's out here. What do y'all think? Oh, hey, while we're waiting, didn't move. There we go. Cheers, Lorraine. Thank you. I think that's how you say that, right? Yeah, Lorraine. Cheers. Welcome to the herd. Thank you for the support. Vincent? Yeah. All right, Bill, Vincent, I'm leaning that way. I think going for pushing back Hamilton is probably the smarter, and hopefully we get some +1s, +2s out there to be able to push him back. Okay, we are unanimous. Here we go. So rolling it. And we succeeded. Good job. Awesome. So that stays at -1 because of Udenich up there. All right, that works out. Next action. Oh, wow. We're going heavy on the battles now. Some of the biggest battles in World War I. Verdun. Here we go. German commander Erich von Falkenhayn launched a major offensive on the Western Front in February 1916 with the aim of capturing the historic city of Verdun and bleeding the French white. On February 21st, the Germans began with a 10-hour bombardment, launching over 1 million shells. The battle also saw the first use of flamethrowers. Stop and think about that for a second. 1 million artillery shells. 1 million anything is a lot, but to have 1 million artillery shells launched in 10 hours. It's literally incomprehensible. I cannot fathom how horrible that must have been to be at the Battle of Verdun. Literally hell on earth. And also, Dan Carlin's episode that featured the Battle of Verdun was, yeah, it's just, I can't fathom it. Cannot. So the Battle of Verdun, here we go. So again, we need a 4 or higher since we have our +1 there. 4 or higher, come on. We colossally failed. Defeated at the Battle of Verdun. Well, we now have a problem. Caucasus advance, Mesopotamia advances to Baghdad. And we have 1 action. Well, here's the problem. We now have 1, 2, 3 will checks. If we fail this, we're going to be at -3. So if we get to the end of next round and they make it all the way there. And let me double check if we lose immediately when they move in or at the end of a round. A moment. Yep, instantly. All right. Yeah, a whole lot of ruptured eardrums. All right, well, here we go. We need a 5 or a 6, or else this is going to be really, really bad for us. That's really, really bad for us. Okay, so we are at -1, -2, -3. Well, I mean, appropriately, Verdun was horrible, so it kind of makes sense, right? All right, here we go. Provisional government takes control. The February Revolution occurred on that's funny, right? February Revolution occurred on March 8th through the 12th, 1917. The Russians used a different calendar, and resulted in the fall of the Tsar of Russia and the installation of the provisional government, initially headed by Prince Vav, but by the summer led by a young lawyer by the name of Alexander Kerensky. The provincial government chose to honor Russians' obligations to the Western Allies. If the Caucasus unit is on the map, retreat it 1 space. And if it is not, return it to the chorus space. Either way, flip it to its reduced side. All right, retreat it 1 space and remove it down 1. All right. So Gallipoli advances 1, Salonika, and the Sinai attempt. So we need a 3 or higher to fail, and we got a 2. So there we go. But hey, if nothing happens, we survive. Well, you know what? Let's keep trying to push them back. We got 2 actions. Let's go ahead and, yeah. So we need a 4 or higher. Another 4 or higher. There we go. Hey. There we go. Whew. That was close. All right. So we're now at -1, -2. Oh, wait. And the defeat. Oh, no. Oh, no. Wait. I think we lost already, didn't we? We actually lost last round. Because before that happened, because of, yeah. So this is where we were at the end of last round, right? We had 1, 2, 3, but we also lost Verdun, which actually pushed it to -4. So we actually won. Or we actually lost last round. Oh, boy. So the provisional government never took control. Well, shoot. Glory to Rome. So, thought we were saved, but in actuality, we were saved a day late. Well, that sucked. Yeah, I forgot that the national will add the number of markers in the... Oh, check that. Back up. I'm doing this wrong. I apologize, guys. During this phase, you must calculate the current Turkish national will and adjust the national will marker to reflect its current value. So, every time I've done this wrong. I apologize. Procedure. Add the number of markers in the victory box. From that value, subtract the number of markers in the defeats and number of strategic sites. So not so fast, my friend. So, let's reset this. We were at 2. Minus 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 minus 4 is at -2. Then we actually take the card. There, we actually push that all the way back. Gallipoli actually advanced 1. Should be there. Oh, wait, no. That goes back 1. Gallipoli advances, the Sinai advance. There we go. All right. So now we have 2 actions. So we currently are at -1, 2, 3, 4 plus 2. So we're at -2 right now if nothing else happens. But now I'm not going to retract the glory to Rome because that was horrible. So hold on. All right, so we have 2 actions. Keep pushing them back. We need a 4 or higher. Or did we do that? We did that already, didn't we? We did. And we did both of those, and we pushed them back to there, right? So we're actually at -1, -2, -3. We're at -1. So there. All right. Easy enough. Okay. So we're good. Moving on to the next card. I apologize. Jumped the gun a little bit there, guys. Suvla Landing. Determined to breathe new life into the Gallipoli offensive, in August 1915, additional British forces were landed at Suvla Bay. Sir Frederick Stopford, a poor general, was chosen for the landing and doomed the success of the venture when he delayed his advance until artillery could be brought ashore. This lethargy led to the defeat of the attempted breakout at Anzac Cove. If it's on the map, and it is, flip the Gallipoli unit to its Gallipoli post-Savla. That sucks, and then everybody and their mother advances, and we get 2 actions. All right, so that flips over. That gets harder. Caucasus advance 1. Gallipoli advances 1, or attempts to. They need a All right, they fail. I'm sorry, Gallipoli advances one, sorry, and the Sinai attempted and failed. There we go. All right, so we have two actions. Well, we got to push Hamilton back, so we need a 4 or higher. We're going to push him again. That was not good. All right, so we're at -1, -2, -3, -4, 2. We're at -2. If the Gallipoli front advances, we're in trouble. We survive. All right. Hey, forcing the Narrows. Doesn't happen because the U-boats. Thank you. The Gallipoli campaign was originally conceived as a purely naval operation. The naval fleet would penetrate the Bosphorus defenses and seize Constantinople. On March 18th, 1915, an Allied fleet entered the Narrows in hopes of effecting the seizure of the Turkish capital by sea. Because of some well-placed mines, the fleet began to suffer significant losses and retired. But that never happened, so we can just completely ignore it. So the Arabs and the Caucasus both advance. So the Arabs and the Caucasus both advance. And we have two actions. Well, we're going to go ahead and push. Ooh. The Caucasus have to go back, for sure. Yeah, so we're going to start there. Need a 4 or higher. Nope. Do it again. Nope. Oh, boy. The question is, do we start getting rid of these? Because if I think we have to. I'm going to remove this one from the game. And by doing so, let's see. Gain 1 additional reserve action from permanently removing from play one of the resource markers. So there we go. Yep, we're going to do it again. We need a 4 or higher. There we go. Whew. All right. So we're at 1, 2. Question is, do we remove the... I think we roll the dice on it. I think we have to, because getting rid of this, there's so many battles that are going to happen. Plus, when the Kaiserschlacht comes in, we're going to need that. But desperate times, right? Nope, we're going to roll the dice. All right, here we go. Phew. Gorlice Tarnov, or Tarnow. In May 1915, a combined Austro-German offensive was launched against the Russian Empire, seeking to reclaim the lost territories in Galicia. The Central Powers breakthrough led to a substantial loss of Russian-controlled territory and the capture of an estimated 140,000 prisoners. Some of these numbers are just ridiculous. All right, so we have a Eastern Theater battle, which we will go ahead and grab that and put that over there. All right, then the Caucasus, the Sinai, and 3 actions. Whew, we needed that. So here we go. We need to roll a 3 or higher. No adjusted DRMs on this. A 1. Are you kidding me? Really? Really? Caucasus advance. The Sinai attempts to advance. 3 or higher stops them. It stopped. All right. Hey, Laura. All right, we have 3 actions, guys. Let's push Hamilton back. 4 or higher. There we go. You know what? Let's go ahead and try and push Udenich back. 4 or higher. There we go. And let's go ahead and try and push Udenich back again. There we go. Well, that's helpful. All right. Well, at least we made use of the 3 actions, right? So we're at -1, -2, -3, -4, +2. We stay at 2. All right. Next one. Battle of Jutland. This is not going to be good for us, I have a feeling. Gallipoli, Mesopotamia, Salonika, all advance. German policy for many years before the Great War was to build and maintain a threat fleet that could hamper British naval hegemony. The problem with the policy was, in order to maintain the threat, the Germans were reticent to deploy their fleet. On May 31st, 1916, the Germans overcame their inertia and engaged in battle with the British off the coast of Denmark. And the largest battle, sea battle of all time, I believe it was, right? Battle of Jutland? Check it out on YouTube. There's some really good videos on this, by the way. Hey, Bernardo. All right. Hey, pal. All right. So we have a naval battle. So we have Jutland and then everything else happening. So we need a 6, or at least a 5 puts it into a stalemate. I'm not greedy. I just don't want it to be a colossal defeat. Hey! All right. That'll do, pig. That'll do. Gallipoli advances. That's less good, but we can deal with that. Mesopotamia, that also is less good. And Salonika still aren't out there. But we have 2 actions. I think we need to push Townsend back. Need a 4 or higher. There we go. And then we're going to try and push Hamilton back 4 or higher. Nope. All right. So we are currently at 1, 2, 3, 4. We're at -1. However, this is worrisome. Okay, here we go. Wow. Speaking of the Brusilov offensive, here we go. On June 4th, 1916, the reeling Russian Empire launched a major offensive against Austro-Hungary in the Ukraine under the able leadership of the Tsar's best general, Alexei Brusilov. The assault broke the back of the Austro-Hungarian army, which was only saved from collapse by the transfer of German troops from the other theaters. It represented a high point of Russian fortunes. So we have that battle, and we don't advance, but we only get 1 action. So here we go. Unmodified. Oh, yeah, come on. What is it with the Eastern Front? Oh, that's now a wash. The victories and defeats. Now it's just the flags out here that matter. All right, Salonika still doesn't. We're going to try and push back Hamilton. We need a 4 or higher. Oh, not good. All right. Well, that's not good. Sinai Pipeline. British operations into the Sinai were continually hampered by difficulties with transport and supply. In 1916, the British made considerable efforts to construct a rail line and water pipeline to facilitate an advance into Palestine. After building up supplies for an offensive at the end of the year, on January 8, 1917, British forces succeeded in capturing the Gazan town of Rufa. All right, shuffle the dust deck into the deck, place the Faisal Hussein on its 6th track, if not yet in play, and then place the pipeline complete marker in its Sinai holding box. However, none of that matters. Why doesn't it matter, you might ask? Well, because the first move, Gallipoli advances, and now the game ends. Well, hey, at least technically, before that happened, these got shuffled in to that. So that's what we had to withstand the rest of the game, all of those, to have actually made it to a actual victory. So we lost. However, now we score it up. So it's an instant defeat. Right. So capturing Constantinople. If an Allied front advances into Constantinople, the Ottomans drop out of the war and seek terms. Determine the level of defeat by adding together all of the still unrevealed cards, even those not yet added to the deck, but we've added them, and then subtracting the current Turkish national will, remembering to add an 8 right. Finally, compared to the... Okay, so here we go. So we're going to... Hey, we got through all those. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 24. That's not good. So 24. And the national will is at -2. So that's at 26. Well, 26, strategic defeat. All right. So there's that. Okay. So in the game, though, however, before we go on to the strategic, let's see, strategic defeat, per the designer, says the Ottoman Empire surrenders in November 1918, but still manages to avoid Allied occupation. Reduced to its core territories in Asia Minor, the Sultanate removes the Young Turk leadership, and Mustafa Kemal, I totally forget, well, it wouldn't have come in, And Mustafa Kemal is executed after an abortive uprising. So the one thing I forgot, I mentioned at the beginning that we were actually going to use these as one of the little variants. Okay, so I forgot about that. So had we used these, like I said we were going to, you'll see on the back it says Gallipoli only until they're evacuated, then Sinai and the Arab. Oh, you mean the area where we lost? I would have gotten +1s.